Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining me today. My name is Ryan. I am a CPA, and I'm going to be talking about what you should be doing after you form your business. But first, I would really appreciate it if you're new here to subscribe to my channel, and also please do smash that like button to make sure this video gets out to as many people as possible. And also leave me a comment below with any questions, concerns, or anything that you may have. So what should you be doing after you start your business? All right, so the first thing that you should be doing is getting an operating agreement or corporate bylaws or a partnership agreement. Whatever it is, it will depend on the type of entity that you pick, okay? So an operating agreement is for an LLC. Corporate bylaws and the shareholder agreement are for corporations, and obviously a partnership agreement is for partnerships. Now this is important because this is a document that defines basically how your business is operated, who the owners are, how the business will get capital contributions, when they get capital contributions, all these important things, like who makes the decisions and all that stuff. This is important for court purposes, for legal purposes, because there's a misconception that if you just, let's say you just open up an LLC, you registered with your Secretary of State, and then you got an EIN, and you're good. You're personally protected from all liability because you have an LLC, and that's just a big myth. Okay, so what you need to do is you got to have an operating agreement as well, which you need an attorney to draft this for you. This is not something you really want to do on your own, or not something you really want to do through like a legal Zoom or something like that. You want something custom tailored to your business. This document, along with being compliant in your business and following all business formalities, will help protect you from any legal liability. So the next thing that you want to do is you need to get an EIN from the IRS, okay? So you registered your business with the Secretary of State. That's good, that's necessary. And the next thing you have to do is go on the IRS's website and register for an EIN, which is your federal tax ID number. And this is important because you need this to file your taxes. You also need this number to open up a checking account, and it's just another way to stay compliant. This is free to do. I will include a link to the IRS website in the description below, and it's pretty simple to do. It might take you 10 minutes maximum. And again, this is important for getting a bank account and for being compliant and for filing your taxes. Okay, those two things, you need an EIN for those. So opening a separate checking account for your business is crucially important. One of the things that will get you in trouble is if you commingle your business and personal money. So getting a checking account strictly for your business will basically mitigate that, or at least help mitigate that completely. And the same thing, if you want to get a credit card or any other type of financial instrument, you got to get it through your business, okay? All your business income should go to that checking account. That means if you get checks written to you, make sure it's written to your business. Okay, and if you pay for business-related expenses, make sure it's coming out of that checking account or out of the debit card for that checking account. You don't want to be paying for your business stuff with your personal account or vice versa, because that's when it becomes commingling. Okay, so what you want to do, let's say you have rent due and your business is your only source of income, what you want to do is transfer your money from your business to your personal account if you're an LLC, and then pay your rent from your personal account. Because what you did there is you took a business distribution. You have to do that. You have to take that step before you pay for your personal items. Another thing having a separate checking account does is it keeps your tracking of income and expenses much more simple. If you keep everything business related in one checking account, then you know that it's all business related. You don't have to sift through bank statements and highlight things that are personal or highlight things that are business, to try to separate them out, to do your taxes. It's just a much more simple process if you have a separate checking account. And it just makes things much simpler at the end of the year when you're trying to file your taxes, or you're trying to create financial statements, let's say because you need to get financing for a house or a car or something, and they require financial statements from you. It's much easier to do that if you have a separate checking account. A business license is typically obtained from a city. Okay, so you registered with the Secretary of State, that's for the states. You received an EIN, that's from the federal government. And now you need a business license, which is just a license to operate a business in that city, in whatever city that you're operating in. You need to do this because the city will also want to assess some property taxes on your business if they need to. You know, like they like to track what businesses are operating there so they can go there and assess property taxes, because that's just part of owning a business, is you have to pay personal property taxes. Now, one question I get a lot is if you need multiple business licenses if you have multiple locations. Well, yeah, if you are in 2 different cities, like let's say in Colorado here, let's say I have a location in Denver and then a location in Aurora, which is just a little bit east of Denver. I need a business license in Denver and in Aurora because they're 2 different cities. So yes, if you have multiple locations in multiple cities, you're going to need business licenses for those cities. Now, these are typically pretty easy to set up. You most likely can do it online unless you're in like a small town or something, or maybe the small town doesn't require it, but something you can probably do online in less than half an hour. And you might have to pay like an annual fee between like $10 or $20 per year. So it's not that much money. Accounting software. I can't stress how important it is for you to have an accounting software. The reason is it legitimizes your business, because then you have like actual books for your business, okay? If you keep up to date on the bookkeeping, then you'll have monthly financial statements, which is really important for making good decisions for your business. It's important for getting financing. You know, it's important for just knowing how your business is doing on an ongoing basis. Like, having that information can be very powerful, because then you can make important decisions for your business, or you can make decisions on how you can grow, or you can budget and forecast. I'm a huge fan of forecasting and budgeting for your business because you can really meet goals that way. It's also important to do so that you can easily file your taxes. Whether you do your taxes yourself or you hire somebody else to do it, you're gonna love yourself and they're gonna thank you down at the end of the year because you have accounting software, and if you've been using it throughout the year to keep up to date with your books, whoever's doing your taxes is gonna really be grateful for that. Most accounting softwares now can hook up to your checking account and your credit card, and your transactions will just import straight from your bank or credit card into the accounting software. And then from there, you just classify those transactions appropriately. You know, like if it was a meal, or if it was travel, or a subscription expense, or if it was income, you know, it just happens kind of seamlessly. You don't have to upload receipts to the software to get the transactions in there, and you don't have to do much manual stuff anymore, which is nice. Now, the accounting software I recommend and what I use for my clients is called Xero. It's spelled Xero, and I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just really like their platform. I like their software. It's similar to QuickBooks Online. I just like the interface better. I like the functionality better, and it integrates with a lot of other apps that can make your life a lot easier. So if you're still in the market for accounting software, check out Xero for sure. And I have some clients that are still using Excel to do their bookkeeping or to track their expenses and whatnot. And I think that's okay if you're starting out and if you're still small, or if your operation is really simple. Like, I have some clients that just do consulting. They work from home. You know, they receive like an income check every month and they barely have expenses. Then maybe Excel works for you if you're that small. But as you grow, you can't be keeping track of everything in Excel, because a lot of it depends highly on user input, and you are bound to make an error at some point. Whereas accounting software, if everything just automatically gets imported into the system, then the user input is much, much less. So there's much less room for error there. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about that is also really important is keeping receipts. Your tax preparer, your CPA, or whoever's doing your taxes doesn't need to see your receipts. You should not bring in a box of receipts at the end of the year and just shove it in his face or her face and say, here, you can do my bookkeeping, here's all my receipts. No, don't do that, because they're going to charge you a shit ton of money to do that. But receipts are important for IRS audits. Let's say you were claiming a bunch of deductions one year and the IRS decided to audit your tax return and question some of the deductions that you took. Well, the best defense against that is having your receipts and other ways to substantiate that it's a business transaction or a business deduction, okay? That's what receipts are for. You can store them away you know, in your house, in your office or whatever. Up to 7 years is what's recommended, okay? Or you can scan them and track them online or digitally. Now, my clients have asked me, is it okay to just have like a bank statement that shows the line? You know, like let's say the IRS is auditing your meals and entertainment. Is it okay to have just a bank statement that says, oh, you ate at like Torchy's Tacos on this day? And the answer is no. Typically, the IRS will not accept just bank statement lines. They want to see a receipt. They want to see an itemized receipt. Because what if your Torchy's bill was like $800 and like most of that was alcohol? Well, that doesn't seem reasonable. And it was just for like 2 or 3 people. Well, there's many problems in that scenario. Okay, but we're talking about just IRS deductibility here. They're gonna want to see itemized receipts. Or let's say you have an expense at Costco. Now that could be a lot of different things. So if it was just a credit card line item, it would just say Costco. And you could say that you bought, you know, office supplies there, but the IRS won't know that. They won't be able to verify that without seeing the receipts. Because you could have bought like, you know, your general groceries there and just expensed it as a business expense, and that's not allowable. So they want to see the receipts. It's important to keep the receipts. And accounting software like Xero or QuickBooks, they will allow you to scan your receipts on your phone or take a picture of it, and then they'll let you basically upload it to Xero, and it'll link it to the transaction in Xero, which makes it nice because then everything is just in one spot. So if you get audited, you can just pull up the expense line and then the receipts right there. So just something to keep in mind so you don't have a pile of receipts, you know, accumulating in your home. That's all I got for today. Thanks for joining me. Let me know down below if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'd love to answer them for you in the best way that I can. You know, some questions might be for an attorney, but I will be honest and let you know that. And also, again, if you haven't done so already, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Take care. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup.